Hello, I'm Daria from SalesScreen.io, and today we're gonna talk about the marketplaces in UAE and KSA, particularly Amazon and Noon. So what you gonna choose, where you wanna sell it, and if that makes sense for you to sell on both marketplaces. First of all, a little bit about our background. We started to check the data for Noon starting from August last year, and for Amazon beginning this year. Our approach always remain the same for each marketplace. We collect the data for each product, and which gives us understanding, like what products selling good, what products selling bad, and what the total number of sales per each category. So it's very important usually to understand the marketplace itself, how does it works, and what the sales are there. According to other estimation, the sales average sales for Amazon this year is around 270 million dirhams, and for Noon is actually around 200 million dirhams. So basically, you may think that they are very different in terms of market share, but from what we see from our data, they are quite similar in terms of their sales. So the first question is, do you want to sell on both of the marketplaces? I would say yes. You definitely want to sell in Noon and Amazon both, because it's going to give you quite a good market opportunities. Honestly, I talk a lot with the experts in the field, and lots of them Amazon experts, what we say, they say that actually they look at the data in similar web. So what actually similar web data is that? This is the data for visits for each marketplace, and here we can see the visits for their last few months. So basically you can see that visits per Amazon is actually way more higher than visits per Noon, but it is also surprising. Amazon Noon still would be able to make it quite big in terms of sales, even though this marketplace started only 4 years ago. So I actually think that Noon is a good marketplace to sell, but you need to understand the picture itself. To start to sell on Amazon, as I explained in the previous videos, you just may need a residency, or you can be national of some of the countries and start with individual account. You don't need to have corporate account, or you can open your corporate account within company incorporated in one of the many countries. And for the Noon, it's definitely you only need to have company incorporated in the country you sell. So if you sell in the UAE company, mainland free zone doesn't matter. But if you sell in KSA company, that only works, and you also need to open the bank account. So the kind of registration processes could be a little slower for Noon, but I think in terms of numbers, it's actually worth it. The second criteria what we're gonna look at is their perspective. So first of all, what I can see that Noon are quite aggressive during the quite aggressive during the holidays, or like any kind of high season events, like for example Yellow Friday, 11/11, and they subsidize a lot of to actually increase their revenue, which is good and bad. Good because you as a seller can actually get something out of that buy, and bad is of course because to participate in those kind of promotions, you need to give larger sales, larger discounts. The next thing is that in terms of the brand recognition, I think unfortunately Noon gonna win the competition in the market. We already can see this in the KSA, but for UAE still Amazon has like very good share of voice. And sometimes when we think about buy something, lots of people go to Amazon. But what Noon done, they launched a 15 minutes delivery last year. It's performing quite well, and they are very aggressive in terms of promotion of that kind of services. If you go in any compound in Marina or like TBR or like Barsha Heights, any kind of area, you're gonna see a lot of promotion, offline promotion. You're gonna see a lot of online promotion, a lot of banners in the city, and this is all about Noon. The next thing, what I see the difference between Noon and Amazon, that Noon is actually putting lots of efforts to work with their sellers from specific categories, and it's actually computer, electronics, devices, mobile phones, that kind of categories. So for that kind of sellers, of course, Noon, I guess, is more appealing. There is more sales, and Amazon, they probably had some internal discussion about how they want to work with sellers, and honestly, not every electronic seller are represented at Amazon. Although, as much as I talk with home appliance sellers saying that actually Amazon are more strict and they more gated in terms of getting the new sellers without authorization letter. So basically, they prefer Amazon over Noon. So it's like very complicated game, which I don't actually think sellers who are not represented in these categories should think of. But still, the next thing is actually the audience. So for Noon buyers, there are a lot of buyers which are more local or Arabic speaking buyers. It's like people tend to support the local player, which is Noon. It owned also by Emaar, one of the largest company in the UAE. So that's why I can say that some of their clients prefer Noon specifically because they consider as they own that kind of marketplace. Although there are a lot of expats which used to use Amazon in other countries, they come into the UAE, and this is the country where we have 90% of the immigrants. So that's why it's also Amazon. It also has their own audience, and I would say this is something you just need to think about, like who you want to sell your product to, because the prices are very complicated in the UAE. Offline prices could be very, very high, and people actually accept it. Online prices could be very, very low, which people also looking for, especially if they are not living some kind of districts their like prices are lower, like for example there are. So it's the differentiation is like quite unique in the market, and you definitely need to know what kind of audience you want to sell your products and what kind of added value you add to your products and what is your business model is. The next thing about the Noon and Amazon, this is return and refund policies, and this is very, very important. So for Amazon is very customer-centric platform, and it gonna give opportunity buyer to return the products. Sometimes then even if it's not, it could kind of conflict with the local law regulation, or it quite complicated. So a lot of sellers just don't want to fight for the returns, and it's quite not possible, especially when you're a small seller. So a refund rate is usually tend to be higher for Amazon, but for Noon, you also can choose the option, then you say that this product is not eligible for return. Of course, there could be returns. The customers can say this, like, this product are not as good as described or anything, but if you have good description, good content, good pictures, and actually you can check your content score in our tool Sales Cleaner. If you have really good content which describes the product fully, but your product, you're saying, is not eligible for return, your return rate is going to be quite lower. And they have a couple of clients which are using this advantage, and they say, like, if my type of products I can't sell on Amazon, but I can sell on Noon, and I will continue to sell on this marketplace as long as there is that kind of opportunity. So shortly, there is a few criteria to choose between Amazon and Noon, and let's talk very shortly about the other marketplaces which are represented in the market. There is a Namshi marketplace. I would not say this is marketplace because you don't have access to your account. You only can supply product for them, give them your content, but you're not able to change the prices, etc. And for now, unfortunately, because there's this merger between Noon itself acquired Namshi, and this is process, I think it's not that easy to become a seller with Namshi. The process takes usually around 6 months, but I think it's also a very great marketplace to sell, especially if you want to sell in the Saudi Arabia, and if you're in the fashion segment, because 60% of sales are generated actually in Saudi for Namshi. And I think this is a great place to sell, but you need to consider that kind of thing. Sometimes people, then they think about the marketplaces. They also, I could mention Mom's World. Unfortunately, Mom's World, they're not like marketplace. They have sellers, but what they do, they actually get your products. You're also not able to make any fix on your content on your product, but they not like buy your product. They get in your product and you get money after the product sold. And by the way, I didn't mention the payment. Basically, for Noon and for Amazon, the payment time is quite the same. Officially for Amazon is 2 weeks, for Noon is every week. But when you're becoming more prominent with Amazon, your payment, you can actually ask for a payment once a week. So it's quite the same in the most of the cases. And for like non-marketplace online retailers such as Namshi, Amazon, etc., the rules of the game could be not the same for different sellers. So you need to also to talk with the marketplace representative itself and to negotiate the terms. And of course, there are like other marketplaces like J and Dubai Store, etc. But I'm not aware of the number of sales. Maybe for some specific niches like electronics, they could work well. But in general, it's quite tricky to get good sales out of the channel. So I usually suggest to, especially for beginner sellers, to suggest only on 2 marketplaces at the most, but do everything possible to provide good content, to provide good prices, to provide added value product, and make your unit economy works with those 2 marketplaces. I hope the information we just discussed was interesting for you and helpful. If you like this video, please put thumbs up and please subscribe to the channel. And also, if you leave the comment, you're gonna have a chance to win the Amazon gift card. Every 2 weeks, we're gonna choose one winner for each of the video. Thank you very much, and have a great sales.